Hello, you lovely cups, it's the Dragon Lord here, back again with another part of What If Tanjiro Was Kokushibo's Son, Part 2. Now, you guys quite liked Part 1 and Part 0, so Part 2 is getting dropped. Now, for Part 3, I am going to put a like goal, and well, that will be at the end of the video, so if you want to know the like goal, you'll just have to go there, I guess. Anyway, join the Discord if you haven't already, like and subscribe if you're new around here, and with that out of the way, let's get into it.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat, you'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted. Can't copy, printed. Can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move.
At Urokodaki's house, Nezuko and Tanjiro would be sharing a meal, as they're both waiting for their Nichiren blades. Whilst they waited, Nezuko would continue training a bit, and Tanjiro would be helping Urokodaki out. Their swordsmith would arrive, as he would first reveal Nezuko's blade, which has a red wood handle with a black cord wrap, and a nice black wheel guard. When she grabbed the blade and took it out of the sheath, she would hold it up, as the blade started changing color, as it turned black. The swordsmith looked a bit disappointed, but then he revealed Tanjiro's blade, which kept his father's sheath, but it was slightly different for all the rest. Its handle was a golden red, with a black to white cord wrap. As he unsheathed the blade, he could feel the work that the swordsmith had put into the blade. As he held it up, the blade started to change color, but before it did, it got a pattern. The left side of the blade had a sun pattern, and the right side had a moon pattern on the back of the blade, as the edge turned red. The swordsmith was excited to see the red blade, as he almost cried from the excitement. "I knew you would have a red sword," the smith would say, pointing at Tanjiro. "What do you mean?" Tanjiro would ask, a bit confused. "Well, you are a child of fire after all. So is your sister, but I guess her fate is sealed," the swordsmith would say shruggingly. "What do you mean by her fate being sealed?" Tanjiro would ask with a confused expression, but Urokodaki would butt in and explain that there is a little bit known about the people that have black swords. Shortly after, the blacksmith left, happy about what he saw, and the crow would announce their first mission, to go to a certain village where women have been going missing. By Nezuko's request, the two hurried over there at high speed, arriving a day earlier than what your average slayer would have been able to. As they arrived in the day, they went around asking for disappearances, but they came up with nothing and decided to just patrol at night, which they did. They split up to cover more ground, and eventually Tanjiro ran into a couple, as he trailed them without them noticing him. As he took a sniff, he could smell the demon close by, as it was about to kidnap the girl, but Tanjiro would decapitate it before it even got close. The girl and the boy were both shocked at what they had just seen as they took a step back, as 2 more demons showed themselves. As they started gritting their teeth together at the sight of their other part getting decapitated. "It will be alright, I'll protect you both," Tanjiro would say with a firm look in his eyes. Meanwhile, Nezuko would show up as she saw them fighting, as she prepared to join in, as she took one of the demons and started fighting it separately. Although the demon was fast, she would easily dodge all of its attacks, and when she had an opening, she would decapitate the demon without any issues at all. Tanjiro had already finished his other demon off without any problem at all. After all, his strength was on par with that of a legendary swordsman. He'd helped the girl and her fiancé out as he guided them home, as the boy thanked Tanjiro for saving them. The girl's parents, hearing about what had happened, offered Tanjiro and his sister to stay for the night, which they accepted. The next morning, the two would set out to their next mission, as they headed to Tokyo, where they stopped at an udon shop to eat some udon. But as they got their bowls, they both smelled a familiar scent, as Nezuko started freaking out. Tanjiro got up, leaving his udon bowl as he started running to the smell at full speed. As he was jumping from rooftop to arrive there even faster, landing right behind the source of the smell. As the man turned around to be met by Tanjiro's raging eyes, as he had his hand on his sword preparing to strike at the man. But then he saw the kit the man was holding, and for a second Tanjiro's mind took a dark turn, but he snapped out of it. The man looked at Tanjiro confused until he noticed his scar and earrings, as he whispered, "Tanjiro." His suspicion got confirmed when Nezuko got up and looked at the man with a hateful stare. "Where's my father?" Tanjiro would ask with a hate-filled stare. "He's getting punished for his betrayal," Muzan whispered, which only 4 people heard. Tanjiro was angry, but he kept his composure. Muzan, however, would grow his claws as he prepared to slash at a bystander. However, his slash got deflected by Tanjiro, which shocked Muzan. Speed faster than he could comprehend, as he lost his composure for a second, although he'd used one of his powers to create a fire close to them, as he then proceeded to walk away, whilst Nezuko and Tanjiro were preoccupied. Seeing this, a kind of voice spoke out to Tanjiro. "That was very brave of you, young man," a lady would say as she invited them over to her house. They followed her. After all, why not? She was a demon, but she was kind. As she explained that she's a demon outside of Muzan's control, who wants to defeat him just as much as the demon slayers want to. As she explains that she's searching for a cure, but she needs more of Muzan's blood to complete her cure. Tanjiro explains that his father is apparently an Upper Moon demon, and that he is Upper Moon 1, which she's quite surprised with, as she grabs blood from both Tanjiro, who is the eldest son of the strong and the strongest of all the siblings, and she gets a bit of blood from Nezuko, who turned into a demon but resisted the Muzan cells. "This will help a lot. Thank you, truly," Tamiya would say. But at that moment, Tanjiro would grab his sister and them as he moved them to another room, as the room they were in got completely destroyed. Standing there was Lower Moon 2 and 2 other demons. Tanjiro and Nezuko would walk outside to fight these demons. "I'll take the Lower Moon," Tanjiro would say, preparing to go into a stance. "Alright, I'll take the other 2, Nezuko would say as she took a breath. "You're quite brave coming at me by yourself, the demon would say, but before it could gloat more, Tanjiro would already have cut off its arms. "Quite pathetic, really," Tanjiro would say as he kicked the demon down, as he took a breath. "Moon breathing. 12th form. Half moon cry," he'd say as he proceeded to move his sword down in one powerful motion, slashing the demon's head clean off. As Tamayo came outside and grabbed some of his blood for research. Meanwhile, Nezuko was fighting the other 2 demons, as she was doing pretty good. She took another breath as her blade lit on fire, as it turned red. She would take another breath. Water breathing. 4th form. Improved. Exploding striking tide, as she would hit both demons' necks as the fire on her blade made it easy to cut through their necks, which after they were cut, small explosions would go off. Tamayo would once again grab their blood for research. The crow would ask for a report and Tanjiro would give his report, after which they got their next mission, as they set out after stopping by the udon shop to get some udon, as they, left their udon. Afterwards, they set out. On their way, they came across a boy with yellow hair, who was trying to force the girl to marry him. After Tanjiro had helped the girl out and dragged the boy along, they continued on to where their mission was. The boy had severely calmed down because of Nezuko's presence. After all, she was pretty and he had fallen in love with her on the spot. They figured out that his name was Zenitsu, as they all had to go to the same mission. Arriving at a house in the middle of the woods, the 3 would be met by 2 kids, who looked at them in fear. "Are you kids all right?" Nezuko would ask with a smile, which put them at ease. "Our older brother, he got taken by a monster," one of the kids would say, trembling. "Don't worry, we'll save your older brother," Tanjiro would say, preparing to go inside the house. Nezuko would follow shortly after, as Zenitsu would follow, not wanting Nezuko to get hurt. They all got split up, however, because of the demon blood demon art, which left Tanjiro in a hallway right next to a demon, as somebody was screaming, "Coming through!" And as Tanjiro looked over, he saw a boy wearing a boar mask running at them at full speed as he decapitated the demon. "Ha ha ha! I'm the best!" he would scream whilst flexing his muscles. Tanjiro would look confused, but the boy would just look at him worried. "Did you hit your head?" Tanjiro would be worried that the boy might have hit his head too hard, and that he might have a screw loose. The boy, oblivious to what Tanjiro meant, would simply reply, "No!" as he started running off again. Tanjiro followed behind, although the boy didn't notice. They would stumble upon Zenitsu, who was with the older brother. As he was fighting a demon, although he was asleep, he easily dispatched the demon. Meanwhile, Nezuko was fighting the drum demon, who she beat after a little while. All meeting up outside, the siblings would hug their brother as they proceeded to depart, with Tanjiro and Nezuko making graves for the deceased. Inosuke would want to fight Nezuko as he knew she was a partly demon, although she declined with a smile which calmed him down. Tanjiro would eventually have to calm him down with a headbutt though, which made Inosuke realize that he's insanely strong. Their next orders were to go rest at a nearby wisteria mansion, where they went. They get there after half a day of walking, as they get greeted by an elderly woman. The woman gives them food and a place to sleep, which Inosuke admires. Nezuko and Zenitsu get to know each other better in this time, and they become good friends. Tanjiro, however, keeps to himself as he is conflicted on what he should have done in Tokyo. Should he have attacked Muzan there and end it all, or did he do the right thing? Although he had no idea and decided to sleep all night. As they spent 2 days there, and then they got their next mission, which was to go to Natagumo Mountain, which they arrived at after a day of running. But that adventure will have to wait for part 3. If you guys enjoyed part 2, do hit that goal. I'm gonna raise it this time since you guys keep crushing it. So for part 3, let's get to 50 likes. Don't forget to leave a comment on what you thought of the video. Leaving a comment also boosts the content to a broader audience, which would be cool. Join the Discord if you haven't already, and if you're new around here, like and subscribe. If you like my content, of course, you don't have to do that if you don't. My name is the Dragon Lord, and I'm signing out.
Tell me a story.
There was once a pale man with dark hair who was very lonely.
Why was it lonely?
All things must meet this man, so they shunned him.
Did he chase them all?
He took an axe and split himself in two, right down the middle.
So he would always have a friend.
So he would always have